Okay, so next we're going to assemble our dimensional trim for the windows, okay? And they're all pretty much one piece, and they're going to go together pretty quick. It's just repetitive, okay? So the way that we structure this is that this little opening here is going to be the front, and rather than having to have a strip in here to close it up, we just skip that part. It's really not necessary. But I'll show you how it all works. Grab one of these, it doesn't matter which one, and actually, you know what, if you want, we can kind of structure these by size. We'll start with the larger ones first. Doesn't really matter. Okay, what we're going to do is begin by applying some glue to these little triangular tabs here. You're going to tuck that in and press and hold, and we're just making these dimensional. It may help to move this section out of the way so you can get your finger in there a little bit easier, and just press and hold. Give that a few seconds, and literally, as I mentioned before, less is more when it comes to little sections like this. Tuck that piece in, line it up, and press and hold. Give that a few seconds. We've got some more tabs here. One little guy there, easy on the glue. Tuck that under, press and hold. So the little triangular tabs are getting glued to the dimensional portion of the window, and then we'll just close it up. So tuck that under, line it up, and press and hold. Just enough to get your little finger in there. There we go. And we'll close this up like so. Apply glue to all these tabs. Let's spread that out like so, and then go ahead and close it up. Match it up with the side opposite of the side where it's already hinged, and then just bring in those little sides until it's all nice and flush. Just like that. You can press down. And this is where grabbing maybe a super thin little dowel can be helpful, because you can push down on the inside. You see how much quicker that goes. Okay, there we go. Just like that. And there's our first little window. Now I inked the front first. This is going to be the front, and that's going to be the back. Okay, I inked the front first, ran it through my embossing folder, and it worked nicely. There's a little area there where I didn't get enough glue. So I'll just paint a little extra on there and press and hold that. Okay, so one down, a few more to go. Okay, there we go. And we'll just repeat the same process here until we get all of these done. So this is a good time for story time, I guess, as this is going to be fairly repetitive. But I don't want to omit anything. Okay, these smaller ones, they are going to get a little bit harder to glue down. So that's where you can bring that in, and if you need to, you can kind of use a little dowel to get your fingers not that small. You can use a little dowel to hold that in place. Okay. Thin that out, tuck it in, and press and hold. So yeah, we was looking at all the feedback. All right, for this one here, I think I'm just going to do both of these at the same time so that I don't have to pull it apart. Press that down. Let's move this out of the way. I was looking at a lot of feedback, a lot of data, and it looks like, I mean, our structures, our houses, are very popular. I also saw that so many people made the Bates house last year, and it got me thinking, well, you know, are they ready for like a really complex project? Because they've never really done anything this complex. And I said, you know what, let's just try it. All right, go ahead and apply some glue to the rest of the tabs here, like so. Let's thin that out. Okay. And close that up. There we go. I'm almost thinking that it may not even be necessary to glue those little tabs down. I'm gonna try that real quick here. So yeah, found some inspiration online for this house and sort of kind of made it our own. You know, as they say in the art world, nothing is really original, but this is definitely a one-of-a-kind Dreaming Tree project. See, so that little tab there, it ripped off because of my embossing, but I'm going to try to do it without it. And actually, I'm just going to tuck these all in, and I'm going to put glue on just the main tabs here and just see if I can get it to work without having to glue all those little tabs down. And actually, I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. So let's try that. For a structure this small, it might not even be. It does kind of help hold it in place, but I don't even think we need to do that. Yeah, see what I mean? It's working just fine. So you can kind of skip gluing those tiny little tabs down. If anything, they'll just kind of prevent light from leaking, but I don't even think it's necessary to glue them down, as you can see here. You just have to make sure that you're forming the sides properly, and that worked out nicely. So that's gonna be a real time saver for us, actually. I'm okay with that. Okay, moving on to the next one here. So let's try that one more time. But anyway, so this is definitely going to be hopefully an eye-catching sort of project that maybe, you know, helps us get a little more noticed. There's a lot, since I started Dreaming Tree, boy, there's a lot of content out there now, and I, you know, sometimes feel like it all just kind of blends in. I wanted to make something that really stood out. Okay, so let's try it without putting glue on these little tabs here. Just nice and thin with the glue on these main tabs. And, you know, if you're not comfortable skipping those little tabs, that's fine. You can try to glue them down. I mean, you can definitely do it. It's not difficult. Might need to use a dowel to really kind of help me with it, but yeah, it's working out fine. Look at that. And just grab your dowel, push down on that tab from the inside, and there you go. Yeah, so those almost don't even need to be glued down. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Well, that's a time saver. All right, so pull these in. Those little triangular tabs in there. Just get it shaped like so. And then what we can do, I think one of the best ways to make sure that it works without even gluing those tabs down is just making sure that you get it aligned with the side opposite of the side that is already anchored. Make sure those tabs are inside though. Okay, so here you can see I'm just kind of pushing it in and then lining it up with the side opposite of the side that is already anchored, like that, just pushing it in. There we go. And just kind of nudging those walls in as I go. Make sure everything looks nice and aligned. Okay, there we go. I'll do a few where we actually use the tabs too, just to show you how you can do it that way as well, but this is really saving a lot of time. There we go. Okay. And again, it's a bungalow. It's, you know, it's a kind of a decrepit, unkept little house in the forest. So things don't need to be perfect. I don't think anyone's going to be putting this house on the market for sale anytime soon. All right, but anyway, let's do a few with some tabs in case it's not working out for you without the tabs. So just throw a little bit of glue right on there, line it up, and press and hold. And you probably don't even need to put your finger underneath it, but if you do, you just use a little dowel to push up against it. Okay, I'm gonna go over to the other side, apply a little dot of glue there, just line it up, and just hold it. If you wanna speed it up a little bit, give that a little press, that's fine. So those two are kind of holding the shape. Then what you can also do is maybe just skip, maybe just skip these two here and just apply your glue to these tabs like that. Make sure those tabs are in, and just line that up with the opposite side. And then as it's sort of getting tacky and drying, just start pressing that down. There you go. You can use your table to kind of help you out. Shove a little dowel in there, help push those tabs down. And there we go. And it's coming out perfect, actually. There we go. Okay. Working our way through this. Surprised, actually. All right, so let's do it. Let's do one with all the tabs glued into place. Okay, so we'll start on this side here. Move this out of the way. And just throw a little dot of glue on this small little tab there. Bring it in this side and just press and hold it. Again, the less glue you use, the quicker this will go. There we go. Let's go over here. The next little tab, thin that out, way too much glue. Be watching paint dry. We don't want that. Line that up and press and hold. If you can't get your finger in there, line it up. Use a dowel, press that down. Just make sure it's nice and lined up. Okay, now here on this side, if we move this little window part out of the way, we can tuck these tabs in and have plenty of room to get our fingers in there. So let's actually apply glue to both of these tabs. Thin that out, like so. Tuck them in. Line it up and press and hold. Yeah, see, you can do it. So many different ways of doing it. Now my fingers are getting kind of sticky here, so you gotta be careful. Either way, any way you do it, it's gonna work, okay? I'll fold these down, get them flat. Let's apply our glue to these three tabs. I'm just gonna close it up. There we go. And close it up. It is a little bit easier to then line it up with that other side, but again, even without the glue, it's really not that hard. Okay, press that down. Stick our little dowel in there, help push that down. There we go. I wish it was this easy to build real windows. I'd be a millionaire. Yeah, I can come to your house and build you a window. Okay, moving right along here. And I think that I'm gonna go back to my method without even gluing down the little tabs, because it seems to be working just fine for me. Okay, so moving on here, especially with these smaller windows, I think that just kind of scrunching them together, make sure you fold them, obviously. There's, again, on all of these windows, there's 4 little triangular tabs. You can either glue them or not, but they all need to be squeezed in, need to be inside of the window. And then you have 3 larger tabs, and those are the ones that we're going to be applying our glue onto to close up the actual structure. Okay, so again, with these smaller ones, I think it's just a lot easier. Just kind of skip that. Just make sure those tabs are in. And again, it's hinged here, so I'm focusing on getting it aligned on the opposite side first, make sure it's centered, and then just take those other two sides, push them in, and then press down. And as you can see, it's working out very nicely. Okay. And just keep holding while it sets. And if you need to, you can grab a little dowel and just push up against that tab, help it get a little bit of a better hold. And there we go. And there it is, okay? So keep on cruising here. We have 5 more left, not a big deal. Okay, so again, folding those little triangular tabs in, forming the dimensional portion of the window, bringing these tabs in like that. It's kind of like putting a, well, I guess it is, we're putting a box together, essentially, is what we're doing. Okay, open that up, apply your glue to the 3 tabs. And spread that glue out nice and thin so that when it grabs, it just grabs it. And there we go. Focus on getting that opposite side aligned first. There we go. Press that down on the other 2 sides, and voila. Okay, and while we're kind of working on that, there we go. You can use your surface too, that never hurts. And especially with these smaller ones, if you encounter a situation where maybe the tabs just didn't stick for you, you can always paint a little bit of glue in there and just hold that little area in place for a few extra seconds to really help it out. There we go. Okay. So that one's good to go. We'll keep on moving here. And again, just to illustrate that you can do it anyway, I'm going to do it with the tabs this time. So just throw a little bit of glue on that triangular tab, line it up, and just hold it in place. I'm kind of using my thumb to hold it in place, and I'm pushing it that way up against the tab. And if you need to, you can certainly use a little dowel to really push that up against it, since it is kind of hard to get your finger in there, and that worked perfectly. Okay, so let's get some glue on this tab and line that up. You can actually also, if it helps, just use your surface to press that down. That's even better. There we go, so that's nice and lined up. And then with these 2, we'll just tuck these in, bring these tabs down. So I'm showing you all of these different ways because one way may work better for one person and another way may work better for another person. So whatever works best for you is what I want you to do. As my old science teacher used to say, there's more than one way to skin a cat, which I still to this day find very disturbing that he would say that. I was in, I think, 6th grade, but you know, everyone laughed. Now I have 2 cats and couldn't imagine doing that. I don't know why you would, but anyway, just hold that down, give that a few seconds. And yeah, these little guys are require a little more patience, but definitely doable. And start on the side, opposite of the side where it's already anchored. and just kind of get those edges in place. I think really helps the other part of it go much more smoothly. Bring that tab down, bring that down. So you get the idea here. I probably don't need to show every single moment of this assembly, but I feel like sometimes you watch me do something once and it just doesn't click, and then I may mention a little tidbit or something the second time around and you're like, oh, okay. Squeeze those in, bring this over, and we're going to close that up. So we need to just apply some glue to these 3 tabs. Same process. Okay, and then close it up. Getting it centered on the opposite side of where it was already anchored, and just nudging those other walls in. And if it helps put it on your surface, that's fine too. Just continue to apply pressure around the perimeter until it's fully set. And there we go. That was probably one of the smallest ones, and that went together very nicely. Okay, so we got a couple more to go here. And then the next stage of our prep is going to be assembling the wood beams. There's a company out of Wisconsin called Golden Eagle Builders, and they build beautiful lake houses. And it's one of the features that I see in the lake houses all the time. I'll never be able to afford one, of course. They're super expensive, but they do some really beautiful work on these lake houses. And one of the key features is, not on all of them, but if you can spend the money on it, are these beautiful beams that they use all around the perimeter of the lake house. And it just looks really gorgeous. Okay, so we're going to tuck this in just like we did and close it up. Okay, so just need to keep that somewhat tight. Apply our glue like so. Now the beams, there's a few of them that are kind of odd shaped. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I'm just kind of setting you up for the next segment here. There's a few of them that are a little odd shaped because they're corner pieces, and those are going to be a little bit, a little tedious. Not as tedious as this because these are really small, but the rest of them, the ones that are square, are going to be very easy because you can actually build those flat. And you'll see what I mean. It's just a matter of gluing a few sides together and then just gluing the end caps on, and it goes together really quick. But there are quite a few. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to squeeze a little bit of glue into this little crack here because I didn't get enough glue on this section here. Just like that. And close that up. I'll stick my dowel in there just to give it a press. There we go. And there it is. Okay, last one. This one's a little bit larger. So anyway, speaking of lake houses, last one here. We're wrapping this bundle up, and I am taking the family up to the great north woods of Wisconsin. I talk about this probably every year. We go twice a year. Boy, it'd be super nice to have your own place up there, but when I first started going there, it didn't seem like it was as popular, and now it's just blown up. And then of course, you combine that with the real estate market and inflation and the fact that the only people that are selling properties up there are the ones that are unfortunately they can't pay for them because of something that happened, like they lost their job, or maybe they're just trying to cash in before everything goes to hell in a handbasket with our economy. But yeah, the colors are supposedly peaking up there, so I'm really excited to get out there with my camera and let Peyton see his real first fall. He was kind of born shortly after out here, I think the peak season for leaf peepers in my area is probably like the last week of October, and then after that everything just pretty much turns brown or it falls off the trees, so there's not much to see. But he is going to experience, he was up there in his mom's belly, doesn't really count, but I hope that he's maybe a little too young to appreciate it, but it's okay. I'm still gonna enjoy going up there and doing some fishing. Okay, so those are the windows. Those are done. You can put those off to the side. We do have a little door to put together, and it's all one piece. So you're gonna wanna pay attention to my process to make sure that you get it right, because it is the front door. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's kind of put these in a pile, and we're gonna put these over there along with all the other stuff that we've already assembled or pre-assembled. Okay, so this door here, a little wonky looking, but it's not horribly difficult. There's a little tab right here. I'm gonna take that, apply some glue to that. I'm gonna tuck it in behind this little guy here. Okay, so it's gonna go down and in behind that little guy there. Okay, and this is where you're probably gonna wanna grab a dowel, shove it through so you can press up against it. Just make sure it's nice and aligned. So we've essentially created the dimensional side here. Okay, now you'll notice here there's a tab and then there's a solid piece. Just make sure that that tab goes underneath, but I'm not really going to worry about that. What we're going to do is we're going to take and apply glue to this tab here on the other side of the door, and then we're going to put glue on this tab here. We're going to tuck that tab in, and while we're tucking it in, this other section is going right on top of the side tab, and then this is the inside tab. Just match those up. There we go. And then we'll finish it off by just painting a little bit of glue to close it up right up here. Okay, so it's a little wonky, but not too bad. Okay, and then just take and paint some glue right on the back of that. Probably need a little more than that. And just match that up as accurately as you can. I'm not overly concerned about how it looks from the back, as the front is going to be the most important. Okay, there we go. Then we'll take some glue, and we've got this final little tab here on the underside. Just slide a little bit of glue in there and just match that up with that little tab that's kind of tucked away in there. Okay, then on the bottom here, there's on each of the little legs of the door, you have 3 triangular tabs. You want to tuck those in, and then you can apply some glue. I'm just hitting all 3 at the same time. Thin that out, and then press the square part over on top of that to close it up. And just press and hold, like that. And I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, and this part kind of came undone. That's okay, I'll fix that. Okay, for the last little leg of the door here, push those 3 triangular tabs in. Just put some glue on all 3 of them, hit that with your finger, and then take the square part and close it up. Just press that down. There we go. And the door is going to go, which way does the door go? Yep, like that. Okay, and then we have an overlay. It's going to go right on top of that. So we can just apply some glue to that. We can do that now, not a big deal. And it's a little bit larger, so it's going to hide any little imperfections that we have. Okay, just match that up. And then you can also emboss this piece to give it a nice wood grain look with your embossing machine. There we go. Okay, so that was fun. And there's your little dimensional door.